I heard you say you watched a bit of Naruto. Have you seen Shippuden since Disney bought it out? It's horrible. I think
Is
it's
it really?
Yeah, I mean they censored it so much where like there's this guy who gets his arm blown off and like he doesn't even scream in agony. I was like, isn't that guy telling the kids they can cut their arm off and it won't hurt?
Yeah. But you know, I understand where they're coming from on that because whenever you try to put something in a section that is Y7, has to be Y7 approved, there are so many restrictions. I mean, you cannot say, you can't say the word jerk. I mean, it's that restrictive. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you want it during that time slot, you're going to have to edit it a lot. So I do understand where they're coming from. Thanks. I have time for like one, maybe two more questions. Yes?
Well, since you're so multi-talented, would you consider not just doing an art class, but a voice acting class, like a 2-in-1 class?
I've considered teaching voice acting. I used to teach cartooning, and I did teach theater for several years. So, I mean, theater is probably the best training you can get as a voice actor. I mean, I can't teach you anything. I can teach you less than what a theater person knows. But if you know what a theater person knows, you're probably going to get cast over a guy who just knows what a voice actor knows. Because most of your people who are auditioning today have about 10 years of theatrical training. And there's nothing more valuable than being in front of an audience and getting a sense of timing, you know, and know what makes people laugh and what makes people cry. Because, and you can only get that on stage. You can't get that just by walking in and saying, okay, I can do a funny voice. And you learn the same things. You learn diction in theater. You know, you learn character development. Yes?
How and when did you start drawing?
Well, I was very lucky. I mean, my parents, my dad was the guy who did funny voices, right? And he taught me to do Donald Duck when I was 4 years old.
Aww.
Yeah, and he would come home and go, and I watched him do it. One time he read me a Donald Duck book in Donald Duck. I just watched how he did it, you know? And then he came home and I'd been practicing all day. I went, and so I got that from him. But then when I was 6 years old, my mother drew, and she would draw cartoons as we were watching them, right? And I was looking for something to do, and she said, "Here, take this picture of Beetle Bailey's dog." Beetle Bailey was a comic strip. It's still under now. And he said, his dog was in here, and said, "Go to your room and draw a picture of this dog." And then I said, "Okay." And she said, "Nah, don't come out of the room until your drawing looks just like that drawing." I went, "Okay." So I figured it was some kind of puzzle. How do you figure this out, right? And then I thought, oh, okay, I just lock onto this line here and hold my pencil here, and as I'm looking at that, sort of follow that line. And I found I could do it really well. And I gave it to my mother, and she looked at it, and she thought I traced it. And she was like, "Oh, no, I want you to just draw it without tracing it." So I didn't trace it. And she said, "Here's how you tell. You put this drawing on top of this drawing, and watch how it doesn't line up. You didn't trace this." So then she was like, "Draw this, draw this, draw this." So inside of me, I think like a lot of us, we want to please our parents. And so all of my careers are just to please my mom and dad. You know?
Voice acting?
Voice acting is my dad. You know? He's the life of the party guy. He sang. He did all these voices, but he just did it for fun. You know, he's a park ranger now in his retirement. You know? Definitely a jack of all trades, but you know, mostly in the labor's field. You know, he was a printer, a painter, carpenter. My father was Jesus.
He was. That's why you're so awesome.
Right. Throw it all to Daddy. Any other questions?
I don't know if it's sacrilegious or not, but
well, let's try it out and see.
Okay. Well, you said that you've done mangas and stuff. How do you get like I don't know. Whenever I draw, it seems like I always tend to take the style of someone else's art, and I can't seem to find my own very well. And when I do try to do my own style art, it just doesn't work out well. Like I find that I'm just kind of copying everybody else, and like.
But that's how you start out, though. I mean,
yeah. So
emulating
I'm just
others.
wondering if art classes might help me with that. Like, I'm trying to take as many art classes as I can.
I think you're exactly where you need to be.
Yeah.
A cartoonist once told me years ago, he said, Sonny, we all have 200 horrible pages in our system. Get them out as quick as possible. So try many different styles. I guarantee you, if you start drawing and not caring if it's bad or not, because it's going to be bad for 200 pages, just keep on drawing and drawing and drawing. By the time you reach 200, you will have other things to worry about rather than who my influences are. Because you will have learned so much just on one page. If you just draw a 10-page mini-comic, page 10 is going to blow away page 1. Guaranteed. So just draw. And don't be afraid to draw. Don't be afraid to try many different styles. When I first started out, I never had a style. I would just try to make a style emulate whatever I'm working on. You know, try to reflect the emotion of it. Now, after 25 years of this, I have some styles, you know, that have developed slowly in each of these areas. You know, I have a very cartoony style that's like a 1930s comic strip style. I have a very anime style that I use for my manga We Shadows. I have American styles, and I have a Wendy Peenan style since I work for ElfQuest. You know, all those things are going to teach you, though, and just add to your palette. And eventually, you're just going to pick and choose and say, this expresses me more, or this expresses the idea I'm trying to convey more than this. You know, so try them all. And I think that's the end of the panel. Yeah, probably over. So if you guys have any more questions, I will be in the dealer's room trying to finish drawing all these commissioned sketches I've got for this convention. So see you guys there. Thank you so much.